Welcome to the Wise Idea Weekly Podcast with Christopher J. Harris, focusing on life, leadership, family, marriage, and the church. We are providing tools for our inspiration and wisdom for life. Our goal is to inspire everyday people to live wise lives. If you're new to us, we release a brand new podcast weekly on Thursdays. Thank you for tuning in for this week's episode. Here's our host, Christopher J. Harris.
Let's go a little bit deeper, because I think if people hear what you said over the last 15 or 20 minutes or so, and they kind of maybe Google you, they pull up the fact that you have 9, about to be 10 books out, and all of that, they're gonna be like, man, this guy's living the kind of life totally not possible for me. So let's go behind the scenes for a moment, and let's talk about some of those moments where Simon T. Bailey bumped his head, or was wondering if this is going to work, or wondering, did I make a dumb decision, or just those challenges in life. Let's talk a little bit about that. Tell us a little about some of the challenges and most frustrating moments that you've experienced personally.
I think there's 3. The first one was in 2001. I was interviewed by a journalist, and he said, "Where do you see yourself 10 to 15 years from now?" And I said, "I see myself as the president and CEO of the Walt Disney World Resort, and eventually the chairman and CEO of the Walt Disney Company." And I know some people listening to us right now are saying, "Bless his heart," So HR showed up, and they asked me to sign a piece of paper that went into my personnel file. And let's just say Disney didn't fire me that day, but about a year later, I heard the footsteps coming, and they were not singing "It's a Small World" after all. So I decided that in 2003, when our country was going to war with Iraq for the second time, corporations were laying off by the hundreds of thousands. I would cash in my 401k with significant Disney stock, took out a line of credit on the house. My then wife didn't work outside the home. My son was 4, my daughter was 18 months, and I turned down 4 jobs. And everybody told me, you should not start a business when the country is going to war the second time. That makes absolutely no sense. And so here I am now out on my own, and turned down 4 jobs. There is no plan B. Plan A has to work. And I've got about a 3-year financial runway to make this work. And if it doesn't work, I got to go back and get a job, because I got a mortgage to pay, and I got to buy some milk, and I got to buy some diapers. And what I recognize is that's when you really dig in and say, did I do what I believe was the right thing to do, and was my timing right? Or was I trying to do something just to prove a point? And I turned down 4 jobs, 2 vice president's offers to go and work at smaller companies, an internal move at Disney because one of the senior vice presidents felt sorry for me after I committed career suicide, and then a senior director position to head up all customer care for Learjet owners in the world through a company called FlexJet. I turned them all down because I knew in my knower that it was going to work. And so what I say to everyone that is challenged
Simon,
right now.
Can I just interrupt you for a
Sure,
second?
sure.
Because I want you to get to those other 2 things. You mentioned 3. So Disney didn't ask you to leave. You made the decision to leave?
I made the decision to leave on my own.
So when you say that a year later they came, you heard the footsteps, what was that about?
So politically, for me to go out and to say I wanted to be the number 1 guy at Disney was not politically correct. It was politically incorrect. So there was a witch hunt that was set up by an executive who wanted to find a way to push me out. So I got wind of it, and I kind of heard it. And what I decided to do was to create my own destiny and leave on my own accord instead of being pushed out of the organization. I wanted to say, I leave when I want to leave, and I'm going to create a brand new me, not because you fired me.
So what's amazing about that, I think if people, again, Google you, look you up, you're on one of the boards for Disney or something now, right?
No, I'm on a few boards for organizations where Disney funds and supports in the local market. So I'm on the Orlando Hospital Board for Orlando Health, and I'm on Florida Virtual School Foundation Board. So I'm on many boards here in town.
But you've spoken at Disney Academy? Is it
I've
Disney
spoken.
Dreamers?
I've spoken. Yeah, I've spoken for Disney. I've spoken at the resorts. They bring me back from time to time to speak at various events.
That's amazing. That's amazing. There's redemption in every story, right?
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
All right.
So that was probably the first big challenge. The second big challenge is now that I'm out on my own as an entrepreneur, how do I make this work and do things not to make money, but to make meaning and to make a difference? All right. So one of the things I quickly recognized is I needed to build relationships, something that I don't think I was really good at initially. And so my challenge was, you got to go to events and network and create small talk and then follow up with a handwritten note and then call. And it was a lot of work. And what I recognized that if I was going to make a go of this, the best hand that will feed you in any economy is the one at the end of your wrist. I had to do the work. I had to pick up the phone. I had to put the bowl in the back of the room and ask for people to leave their business card after I had come to speak free. And now I got to dial for dollars because I know my mortgage is due the end of the month. And I had to keep those things top of mind and recognize no one was going to do anything for me if I didn't get up off my blessed assurance and make something happen. And it was, when I look back nowadays, the challenge I had to overcome was to think that it was just going to show up. It wasn't going to show up. I had to put feet to my faith, and I had to make it happen every single day. Mm-hmm. And then probably the third challenge is, now after doing this for so long, how do we reinvent? How do we let go of what got us here? Because what has gotten you here won't get you there. And so many times people want broadband results, but they're using dial-up methods. So how did I begin to think about investing in talent, where talent of smarter people around me who could take me to a place that I had not been before because I invested in their subject matter expertise? So I think the challenge is not sticking with your comfort zone, but allowing yourself to be stretched for who you become in the process. Here's a quick example. A couple of years ago, one of my team members, a millennial, said, "Hey, I want to invite you to a branding workshop." And I didn't know what she was doing, but she wanted me to hear this brand guy who also was a millennial. And after I heard him, I said, wow, this is really great. And so the team said, hey, we need to freshen up our website. We need to rebrand. And I was like, no, I built this business and it's perfect. But what I recognized, they were looking at the tea leaves of how the world was changing digitally. So I was operating with an analog mind in a digital world. And what they were inviting me to do was to shift or be shifted. So I said, okay, we made a significant investment in totally rebranding, new look, new feel, new photos, everything. Here was just one of the pieces of information this guy told me. He said, Simon, there's too much copy on your website. People don't read nowadays. People scan and they're thumbing through their phone. And he said pictures connect 60,000 times faster than words. And I was like, what? And sure enough, as I start looking at websites, totally expanded my thinking. And I said, okay, let's make the investment. Fast forwarding, Success Magazine took a look at my website, totally vetted me, and said, we want to make you one of the top people that will help change people's lives. And we want to feature in our magazine in the same category with Tom Brady, Oprah Winfrey, and the list goes on. And what I recognized, they said, your website is so fresh in its approach. Now think about this. If I would have held on to the way I had always done it, I would have missed someone who I would have never known of, because they would have made a snap perception about my brand in 3 seconds or less. So the challenge was to always keep my ear to the ground and be open for the possibility of expansion and change. Here's the last thing I'll say. There's a Yiddish proverb that says the only person that likes change is a wet baby, right? So how open are we to change?
Man, you're dropping bombs today, and absolutely amazing. So let's make a hard right turn because our time is leaving us. All of this is the professional success, right? All of this is the career success. Tell me what's happening personally, because you mentioned earlier about a wife and that kind of thing, and maybe
Sure.
some change there. So what does that look
Sure.
like? And you've talked about that a little bit publicly as well, but for those that
Sure.
are listening to this episode, what's happening privately?
Yeah, so a video was posted Father's Day not too long ago of just a simple story that I told of my then wife came to me and said, you give everybody the best of you, but you give us the rest of you, and I don't want the leftovers anymore. And what I recognized after 25 years of being married, I had built a house but lost a home. I was chasing money but forgot meaning. And I thought I was powerful, but I was purposeless. And what I recognize is that I was building a ladder against the wrong wall. And I had forgotten to keep the main thing that is my home. So what I recognized, and the video's gone viral, it's got over 7 million views on Goldcast. It was posted to Facebook of me sharing this just quick 3-minute story of my daughter came into my home office and I was emotionally unavailable to her because I was getting ready for the next trip. And when I came back off the road, I said, Madison, I missed a moment to connect with you. And she said, Daddy, it's okay. And I said, no, it's not okay. Because if I don't change my behavior, she's going to marry a joker just like me. And so now, what I have discovered at 50 years of age, it doesn't matter if you're a public success and a private failure. And now my most important responsibility is to become a great dad to Daniel and Madison. And if I become a great dad for them, I become better for the business and I become better for the world. But if my home is jacked up, I have nothing to say to people on a stage because my foundation is faulty. So what I literally have been working on the last few years, post the divorce, is being a better dad. That is what I'm called to do. That's what I'm supposed to do. And I do it now from a place of awareness and honesty and trying to get it right.
So thank you for being so transparent and sharing a few of those life details and some of those challenges that you've experienced. I end every episode by asking these quick fire questions of my guests. Before I do that, let me ask you, because we have a lot of listeners here who are trying to figure out if marriage is even a possibility for them, or is it possible for us to live this thing for life happily? So now on the other side of this, right, especially after 25 years, what would you tell that husband or that wife that's listening to this on how to make it work? What would you say?
Yeah, I would say number one, if you don't like what you're getting, look at what you're putting out. What are you investing in? If you don't like the output, you got to check the input. I'll say to those who are thinking about marriage, be the person you want to attract. So many times we want to attract a person that checks all the boxes. Well, have you become that person? Because you get what you become. And so what I'm learning, and I've been in therapy for the last couple of years, and no grown man likes to go and sit on a sofa with a therapist by the name of Anita, who's been doing this for 40 years and has more degrees than a thermometer. No man likes to do that. But Anita has invited me to deal with my unfinished business. And so what I would say to those who are thinking about marriage, first time or yet again, how do you begin to do your work and become who you need to be so you attract the best?
So good. So good. So good. So, all right, one more thing before we jump into the quick fire, because I want to be sensitive to our time. You have a brand new book coming out.
Yes.
Author of 10 books, because the other book is done. It's just we gotta get it into our hands. So really fast, tell us about that 10th book.
The book is called Be the Spark. Every person listening to us is a spark in life and in business. But sometimes you lose your spark. And when you lose your spark, you impact not just your life, but all of the customers that you deal with. And so everybody in your life is a customer if you really think about it. And so Be the Spark. Spark is an acronym that I unpack. And I look at all these organizations that I've spoken to all over the world, and I said, what's the common thread? And the common thread that we found is in every culture, in every business, in every community, there's a person who decided to stand up and be a spark, who decided to be the salmon to swim upstream. They found that inner fire in their belly. And whenever they show up, they light up an environment. So I'm so excited to bring this to the marketplace, because we tell stories of people who've become the spark. We provide evidence-based research of what this looks like. And then finally, we give the how to do it in your everyday life and business.
Man, I'm excited for you. I know what it's like to get a book out. That's like, it's like birthing a baby. That's
yes.
for sure. And so it's interesting because when people search you on Amazon, majority of your books are around brilliance or leadership or, that kind of thing. But you've got a couple. Is this you, the Greek philosopher's book?
No, that's not me. That's somebody else.
That's somebody else.
That's somebody else. We just happen to have the same name. Yeah.
No, literally, Simon T. Bailey. That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's somebody else.
So I'd already purchased a few of your books, before getting ready for this episode. So I went back in. I was going to make sure, okay, have I done my due diligence? And I'm like, wait a minute, I missed that one.
That's not me.
Well, because I was trying to figure out, I was like, okay, he threw us a curveball with this whole Greek philosophy thing.
No,
Okay.
That's not me.
All right, well, I can bypass that then. All right, so at the end of every episode, I take some fun and have a good time with my guest. And so we do this quickfire round. The goal is that you've got to answer the questions that I ask with the first thought that comes to mind as quickly as you can. All right?
Okay. All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. What are you not very good at?
Cooking.
What is the funniest thing that has ever happened to you?
Oh my goodness. I think I was being interviewed and somebody said, what's your favorite movie? And I said, Coming to America. And I started singing, she's your queen to be.
Hey, man. So here's what's funny. I was in a meeting the other week with some business people here in Tampa. And about 16 of the people in the room, there was about 40, 6 of them had never even heard of the movie Coming to America.
Oh, my goodness.
I was so disappointed, man. I was like, okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, because we can get off on a tangent about that. What's unique about you that will surprise people to learn about you?
Wow, that I play golf when I get a chance, and that I'm a big movie goer. I love to go to movies.
All right. Are you an ambivert, introvert, or extrovert?
I'm a socialized introvert.
So you're an ambivert then?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Tell us about your typical first 2 hours of the day.
Meditation, prayer, in the Word of God, and going through my affirmations, and then also going and exercising as well.
Apple or PC?
PC.
Oh!
But I have a ton of Apple products.
Okay. All right. I was about to say interview is over. This is a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
And I'm on the iPad right now, so.
Okay. All right. That works then. All right. So you've already told us your favorite movie. What's your favorite TV show?
Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm a big Shark Tank guy. So really, really into Shark Tank. I think it's very interesting. But Marcus Leonis with Profit is also very interesting on CNBC. I think what he's done is it makes you think about business.
Hey, man, people, product, and process. Come on.
That's it.
Yeah. All right. What's your favorite food?
Oh my goodness. Did I say love?
You did.
I love catfish. I'm a catfish connoisseur. I've eaten catfish all over the country.
Where's the best place you've ever had catfish?
You know what? The best place, actually, there's a place in Tampa that I've been to. It was in the deep cut. And the interesting thing, the people are not African American. I want to say they might be from the Middle East. And it was just a restaurant that I went to, and it was the best catfish I've had in a long time. A friend of mine took me there, and I couldn't believe it. It was really good.
You're going to have to find the name of that place for me.
Yeah. I had to think about it. Yeah.
Okay. Last 3 books you've read.
Oh my goodness. Blitz Scaling. Highly recommend the book. It's by Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn. Second book, This is Marketing by Seth Godin. Really, really great book. And then because of where I'm at right now, there's a book by Dr. Henry Cloud, who is a clinical psychologist, and his book is called Necessary Endings. And phenomenal read, highly recommended. If people have read Boundaries, this is now his seminal work, Necessary Endings.
So if you are a regular to the Wise Idea podcast, that is the 3rd time in the last 6 weeks that you guys have heard about Necessary Endings. You got to go get the book. All right. 3 items on your bucket list.
3 items on my bucket list. I want to take a ride in a balloon. I want to go to Bora Bora. And for my 60th birthday, which is a decade away, I want to take the private jet experience that's provided by Four Seasons Private Jet, where they take you around the world in 3 weeks, all on a private jet with no more than 60 people in a jumbo jet.
I've never even heard about it, but I'm my bucket list.
Exactly. A lot of people haven't heard about it.
All right, final question. Did you win any superlatives in high school?
No.
No?
No.
I love that story.
Not that I could think of.
I love that story you tell, though, about, not making it on the basketball or football or, track team. So y'all have to go watch that on YouTube. All right, Simon, we're wrapping up. Is there anything, I always give my guests an opportunity to kind of give a quick closing comment before I say these things that we say at the end of the podcast. Anything you want to say to close us out?
Just remember, I love you, I believe in you, and there's not a darn thing you can do about it.
There it is. I love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. You have Mr. Simon T. Bailey, Mr. Brilliance himself. Please go and be inspired and encouraged by checking out lots of his YouTube videos. And, of course, he's got 9 books. We talked about those already. Just incredible content on different levels: life, leadership, family, all of those things that come along with it. It has been my honor to have him on. Our announcer is going to come right now and give you some more details. I've been asking you, I'm going to continue to ask you, this is your personal request. Please go to Apple and Google Play, iTunes and Google Play, and leave a personal rating and a review. That's how other listeners find us. Y'all know how I end every single week, and I say it this way: when wisdom becomes a part of your life, your entire life gets better. So guess what, y'all? Live wisely.
Thanks again for joining us on another episode of the Wise Idea Podcast with Christopher J. Harris. We hope you enjoyed our time together. If you did and would like additional resources and information, you can find the previous episodes, show notes, featured guest information, and more at www.thewiseideapodcast.com. We also invite you to join the conversation on social media. The Wise Idea Podcast is on Twitter and Facebook. Find us at The Wise Idea and at our Facebook group, The Wise Idea Podcast. On Instagram, find us at The Wise Idea Podcast. Our host is also on social media. You can find him regularly on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest, all located at CJ Harris 1. Finally, if you enjoyed what you've heard, head over to iTunes and or Google Play and leave a rating and review for other listeners to find us. Our podcast is also on Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you the next time. Live wisely.